One rider took a horn to the face and left with plates and screws. Another hit the dirt and a hoof crushed his chest as the arena went silent. From horn to face collisions to chest-crushing stomps, this is the dark side of bull riding, 10 stories they don't want you to know. At number 10, the night everything caught up to Tough Hateman, Bodacious / Tough Hedeman, 1995. NFR Round 7. He had faced Bodacious before. He knew the bull's habits. The launch, the whip, the head snap that punished anyone who guessed wrong. In the early 90s, he kept coming anyway. He took the hits, reset, and came back. That's how it works when your name carries weight and the crowds expect you to walk to the chute like pain is just another autograph request. Then Bodacious changed the game. One jump, one violent rise, one brutal meeting of bone and hide. Hedeman's face paid for it, not just with bruises, but with break after break that took more than a dozen surgeries and titanium to hold together. You can measure toughness in scores. You can also measure it in scars. He finished his career a legend. He also finished as proof that some bulls don't just buck you off, they keep parts of you forever.
He's knocked out. Open that gate, boys.
Next, number 9 looks like a routine get-off until the rope betrays you. Madison Square Garden, Mike Lee on Navasota. The gate flew and the bull hammered forward like a freight train. Lee got yanked ahead, lost the pocket, and then the worst thing happened. His hand stayed trapped. A hang-up in front of a bull like that turns 8 seconds into a beating with no clock. Navasota dragged him, slammed him, bucked him in ugly rhythm while bullfighters tried to carve a lane to peel him loose. Lee later said the memories came in flashes, gate, dirt, and the thud of his own body hitting again and again while the edges of the world flickered. Medical staff called it the longest sustained punishment they'd seen in a pro arena. He walked away, but not from the reminder, when the rope wins the argument, nothing else matters.
Well, again, this is going to go down and this is going to make a lot of highlight reels and videotape. I'm just glad everybody was able to walk away. Frank Newsom takes a shot.
Number 8, the $181 million TV meltdown. This one didn't happen on dirt, it happened on paper. Professional bull riders said Merritt Street Media, Dr. Phil's new network, owed them a mountain of money after a TV deal went sideways. The number was insane, $181 million in unpaid fees and damages according to PBR's claim. The partnership broke, lawyers moved, headlines followed. For fans, it was a reminder that the sport's biggest hits don't always come from hooves. Sometimes they come from contracts. Let's take a look at number 7. Palmetto. Zachary Nagel drew a bull he knew, nodded, pitched forward, and the horn slid under the helmet and into his neck. At first he called it a scratch, a face swipe, something that stings and leaves a line you can point to later. Then the blood came and the world started to dim at the edges. 20 minutes in an ambulance feels different when you can feel yourself fading. In surgery, doctors fought to repair what the horn had torn: carotid, jugular, nerves, 2 gallons of blood gone, pulse lost, then found. Stories like this don't end with highlight reels or scoreboards. They end with the rider alive, which is why it sits here among the most brutal and the most miraculous.
2025.
Number 6 is a wreck that'll make any parent rethink the sport. Boudreaux Campbell blasted out clean, looked set, then one slip turned the chute into a wall. He got pitched forward, ricocheted off the steel, and pogo sticked on the crown of his head. No cushion, no roll, just skull to metal. The booth even warned squeamish viewers to look away. You could hear the thud in the mics. Bullfighters closed in, the triangle of protection forming on instinct, but this wasn't a tangle you fix with quick feet. It was a bad landing in the worst spot. Campbell eventually stood, jaw set like nothing happened, but you saw it. The hands on the hips, the legs shaking, the silent calculation riders made after a scare. In the stands and on couches at home, a lot of moms and dads thought twice about letting a kid chase 8 seconds.
Right here. Oh my goodness.
Number 5, the debate that never dies. Outside the chute, there's a different fight over how the animals are treated. Groups like PETA and the Animal Legal Defense Fund accuse rodeos of using tools like electric prods, tight flank straps, and spurs to force wild behavior. Organizers push back, saying they care for the stock and follow rules. The arguments flare up at events across the map, protests, statements, cameras rolling. Whatever side you're on, the controversy shadows every arena and keeps the spotlight hot long after the gates close. Number 4 is what happens when a split second turns a ride into a tangle that decides everything. Las Vegas, 1994, National Finals Rodeo. Brent Thurman got matched with Red Wolf, one of the meanest buckers in the pen. Red Wolf had already put someone down earlier in the rounds. Thurman got bucked, his rope tangled, and the bull came over him with the kind of weight that doesn't ask permission. He lost consciousness under hooves and dust and noise. At the hospital, the list grew. Facial fractures, cranial trauma, the coma that held him for days. He never came back. He was 25, in a sport already trying to make peace with what happened to Lane Frost. Thurman's death ripped the scab off. It reminded everyone that one rope, one angle, one bull step can change not just a season, but a life's end. Number 3 is a chest stomp that still breaks riders' voices when they talk about it. Denver, January 2019. Mason Lowe wasn't a rookie. He was a pro who knew the dance and the danger. The bull's name was Hard Times, and the irony would turn cruel. Lowe came off, hit the dirt, and the bull came down on his chest. Not a graze, not a scrape, a full crushing blow that tore through the parts that keep you alive. Heart, valve, aorta. He wore a vest. It wasn't enough. That night didn't just cut short a career, it cut through the belief that modern gear can always pull a rider across the line. The community didn't turn his name into a number. They turned it into a promise. Remember him, ride smarter, and still climb.
It's a dangerous, very dangerous sport, but the friends that you make and the places that you see, success you get after doing that, you know, Mason got to feel that. And that feeling is something that you can't replace and a lot of people may never feel.
Number 2, the shooting of Ouncy Mitchell. Not a wreck, a tragedy off the clock. In September 2022, pro bull rider Demetrius Omar Latif Allen, known as Ouncy Mitchell, was shot in Salt Lake City after what police called a domestic violence incident. He died at the hospital. News of the arrest hit fast. Then, a curve. In January 2024, a judge ruled the shooter was justified and dismissed the case with prejudice. The locker rooms felt it. The fans felt it. It was a harsh reminder that the darkest headlines sometimes come far from the arena lights. Finally, at number 1 is the one everyone knows, even if they don't know anything else about bull riding. Cheyenne Frontier Days, 1989. Lane Frost climbed on taking care of business like he had 100 times before. The ride was textbook. The buzzer sounded. He stepped away. Safe, you'd think. The bull wheeled and came back. There wasn't time to run. The hit wasn't obvious to the nosebleeds, but the aftermath was. He went down. The arena went quiet. The injury didn't look like a broken arm or a twisted knee. It was inside. Internal trauma that doesn't wait for an ambulance to argue. Lane Frost died at 25, and with him a certain kind of innocence died too. The movie came later. The vest requirement came later, but on that day, the sport got a mirror it couldn't look away from. The gear riders wear now, the policies they follow, the second thoughts people have when they hand their kid a rope, all of it traces back to that silence in Cheyenne. When bull riding goes wrong, it isn't graceful. It's sudden, violent, and merciless. That's why these moments stick. If this hit home, subscribe for more straight from the dirt stories, and tell me which wreck shook you most. See you in the next one.